got scammed during my gap year and had no job and nothing lined up. So my first apartment that I got during my gap year / COVID had roaches. I just hope that you learn from my mistakes, you learn from my lessons. Hi geniuses, and hello if you are new. My name is Emma, and if you don't know anything about me, a lot of you guys don't know anything about me because I've been so private, but I'm getting candid now. I took a gap year. Okay, whoop-de-doo.
Whoop-de-doo.
Who cares? It wasn't by choice though. It was by force. I took a gap year and I did not plan for it because I did not think I was ever going to take a gap year. I thought I was going to be in school, and ironically, the time that I was applying for grad school / expecting to get into PhD programs was COVID. So yeah, just my luck. I got scammed during my gap year, like not like, oh, $20, like $300, and had no job and nothing lined up. Got scammed for $300. My apartment had roaches, my very first apartment, because I was just rushing and not playing everything during COVID or anything during COVID. So my first apartment that I got during my gap year / COVID had roaches. It was just like, yeah, a lot of mistakes, a lot of regrets. I just hope that if you're watching this video that you learn from my mistakes, you learn from my lessons, but more importantly, by the end of this video, you will know if a gap year could work for you and how to actually make it count. Because although I do not regret my gap year, I could have been more productive with it. I applied for PhD programs in the fall of 2019 because you apply for programs like the year before. So applying in fall 2019 for a fall 2020 admission. I also was applying to summer internships because I was expecting to graduate, or I was going to graduate, not expecting, there was no extension, going to graduate with my master's in May of 2020, and I was like, I need some income from May through August of 2020 before I start whatever PhD program. In February, I heard back from the internship. The internship was first, and I was super excited because I've done this internship before, the Mickey Leland Energy Foundation, which I won't talk too much about. This is not a resource video, but check it out. It's in my description box. If you are undergrad, graduate, I don't think it's high school, undergrad, graduate, the stipend's really well paid, fantastic networking, collaborations, and I was going to be stationed in Louisiana, and I was so excited. New Orleans specifically. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm moving to New Orleans. I might end up staying out there, who knows? I didn't apply for any schools in New Orleans, but I was like, you know what, I might end up staying in New Orleans if I find me a little job. Like, I could see myself being a NOLA girl. I'm from Jersey, that would never work. But I was just excited because I loved traveling, and the internship, the fellowship was like absolutely amazing my first time, so I knew second time would be amazing as well. That was February. March, as you guys remember, in the US, COVID news. Everybody stay home, emails, don't come back to campus, don't come back to work from home. So COVID comes out, and then 2 weeks later, I get the emails back to back. Rejection. So 5 of the 6 programs I was rejected to was because of the outcome of COVID, or the unknown of COVID. One thing I forgot to mention, January, even before the whole internship acceptance, January, my birthday, me and my mom got into like the biggest argument ever. I'm not talking about the little blah 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 blah. I'm like screaming, yelling, names were being thrown at me, like it was just really bad. And that's when I had my final straw, and I was like, I cannot stay in this house anymore. Once I graduate in May, once I defend my master's thesis, I'm out of here. I'm getting my apartment. So when I got that internship acceptance in February, I started looking for apartments in New Orleans to like live in for the summer. So I was like, okay, I'm out of here. When the graduate school rejections came, so did the uncertainty of my fellowship because it was supposed to be in person in New Orleans. Early April, I get the email, hey, Mickey Leland Fellows, this internship is going to be virtual this summer. Hey, everyone's virtual. And I'm like, oh, so yay. So I'm like, I have to find an apartment now. And I have to find an apartment for like a year lease. And the whole point of this video, I have to take a gap year. Like, after this internship ends in August, I have no income. I have nothing. I have no school. I need to take a gap year. I have to work. What the heck is going on? Like, this is absolutely insane. Okay, so then May comes. I defend my thesis. I start my virtual internship. I was able to find an apartment at last minute. My internship was only for 12 weeks because I didn't have anything planned after. So another thing that I regretted during my gap year was the fact that I was just shooting shots in the dark or throwing blanks, whatever they call it. I was applying to any and every job that was available. The first job that gave me an offer was the job that I've held for the longest, which is an adjunct professor at a community college. The second job offer that I got was to be a camp counselor. And y'all, I'll keep this short because I do not want to get canceled. I don't like kids. But I do like educating people and I like teaching people. So I thought, you know what? Maybe this is God's way of trying to get me to hone in on like that whole being able to teach the youth. And that will make me a better scientist, a better professor in the future. No, we were outside playing in dirt. We were outside building tents. I mean, it was fun. It was fun nonetheless. I had this one student, we're gonna call her Little Miss Daisy. I'll never forget Little Miss Daisy. Little Miss Daisy would come to camp every day with her purse. I don't wanna be here. I wanna have a tea party. I don't wanna play in dirt. I don't wanna get dirty. And I'm like, Little Miss Daisy, your mommy and daddy paid good money for you to be here so you could learn how to be outdoors. Like, it's COVID, engage with some peers. She looked me dead in my face. She said, you remind me of my nanny. Yeah, she's colored like you. I said, oh, is she now? Your nanny's colored? And yes, COVID was a hard time for jobs, but I quickly realized that a gap year without structure, it's like drifting in an ocean without a paddle. You really don't know where you're going. Another mistake I made during my gap year was underestimating the financial side. Like, some people take a gap year and know that their gap year means work. Other people take a gap year and know that their gap year means rest. I don't know what my gap year meant, like, until I was in it. Like, okay, you have to survive, so you can't rest. You have to, you're like literally physically surviving to not get COVID, and then you're financially trying to survive because you didn't plan, you didn't like take financial accountability to figure out like how you can manage a year off from school stipend. And you have rent now. You have rent since you left your mom's place. So if you take a gap year, do not underestimate the financial planning aspect of it. Even if you are working, are you living with your parents? Are you getting your own place? Are you cutting costs on anything such as making a budget? Or maybe you're no longer getting your nails done every week. Maybe it's just once a month. Maybe you're only getting a haircut once a month. Or maybe with your gap year, if you are blessed, you find such a great job that you don't have to sacrifice anything. You don't have to budget. If you have plans to go back to school in 2 years or less, I still think even if you have a great paying job during your gap year, you should set aside or you should be financially responsible during that gap year and like budget. But here's the problem that if it's not evident by now, not everyone handles a gap year well. I'm very thankful that I was able to get into a PhD program in 2021 because I do think that if I wouldn't have been able to have school to lean on, I would have ended up being lost or fell behind. And when I say fell behind, I don't mean like from the world, from society. Falling behind as far as my goals for myself. Like, I don't think I would have ever been able to recoup as fast as I did if I did not get accepted into a PhD program for 2021. I stayed in touch online through Twitter with people who were still in my field and even made a lot more resources. I wish I could say during this video that like, oh, there was a moment where I shifted and my gap year became useful for me, but aside from social media, aside from Twitter, I really did not take advantage of my gap year. But like I said, I wanted this to be a video where you guys can learn from my mistakes, and here's just my story about what I did in my gap year, what I should have done in my gap year, which was more networking, being more intentional with my money, being more intentional with my goals, being more intentional with the jobs I was applying to. Your gap year is not meant to be flashy. If it is, good for you. If you're traveling every week, if you're making bank, good for you. But it's not really the time for you to be flashy. Instead, it's supposed to be like this quiet realization or this quiet inner work preparing you for the next chapter. I made mistakes, I faced uncertainty, I found out who I am outside of school. Just in those couple of months to a year, who is Emma outside of academia? And that carried with me when I came into my PhD program. I got to learn myself outside of school. So when I came back into school, I was realizing things like, hey, it's not normal to like want to work every day. Hey, yeah, I get you want this to be my passion, but this shouldn't consume me 24/7. Like, I should still be able to clock in and clock out mentally and physically. A gap year can really be a powerful catalyst if you do it right. I really hope this video was helpful for those of you who watched it. If you are taking a gap year, I'd love to hear why you're taking a gap year, if you feel comfortable sharing, whether it be by choice or by force. I keep saying that because it's so true. I'd love to hear why you're taking a gap year and what you plan to do with your gap year. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.